Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Rob here with the Anthem Podcast. Well, we're taking this in a new direction, obviously. I think we're going to be doing some rebranding and renaming because obviously Cory didn't survive last week's incident, unfortunately. It's a good lesson for people. There is such a thing as too much.
My mic was on mute. I'm here.
Oh, and well, I suppose people on video could see that, too.
Yeah, everybody who's watching this could see that I'm here, too. So
yeah, I was just having like a narcissistic moment. I mean, it's so unlike me.
Where you're envisioning the future where I'm actually dead and you take over all the properties that...
I don't think it's you have to be dead. Incapacitated would certainly work.
So a coma or something like that would work just as well.
Yeah, or married, because I feel like that's going to happen.
Hello, everybody. It's Cory. I did, in fact, survive last week somehow.
Yeah, and can we just say, for those of you who didn't watch the video, it was probably less fun for you. But what was the final shot count for everybody?
You had 6.
Right.
And I had 17.
Now, the question is it golf where the low number wins in that, or like any other sport where the high number wins?
I don't think anybody wins in that.
The viewers won.
Some would say. I would like to, just because I looked into it after the fact. I thought about it during the course of the week when I was feeling terrible. In season 2 of The Wire, McNulty obviously finds all the dead girls and pins it to Baltimore City homicides count.
Right, yeah.
And all the homicide detectives take him out and make him do a shot for every single dead girl that he found.
Right, yeah.
Which was 13.
Yeah.
And he was shit-wrecked by the end of it.
Right, and it was over the course of
13 shots of Jameson.
Wasn't that a couple hours?
Probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if I remember.
It certainly wasn't 17 shots of tequila in... essentially, 16 of them were an hour. Because the first half hour, we let off with a shot, and then there was a half hour of us, like, lollygagging.
Right.
And then we got into drinking in earnest.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's... I would like to say,
as you look downward,
I looking content or looking apologetic about it. That is not a good idea because I was sick.
Yeah,
I was very sick after that.
We joked about you dying, but literally we closed it down and you just went face down on the bed and you were like, "See ya." Yeah,
more or less. So it was. I would like to think that there's some sort of scientific benefit to what we did, though.
I think there was.
Because if you watch, start watching when the drinking really begins, like half hour in, something like that.
Right. And
then just watch what the effects of each shot do to, a pretty large male with a great intolerance.
Well, first of all, you do have a high tolerance, so there's that.
Yeah.
But on top of that, there's also the lag. I could see the lag developing where, like, you took the shot, you're like, I'm fine, next shot, I'm fine, next shot. Okay, now that one, the first one's hitting you.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it...
you had that oh shit moment where, like, finally the first shot starts, like...
Oh, that's what we're doing. Yeah. And then the 10-second animal call at, like, an hour 28.
Yeah.
Was great.
At least I nailed the telephone number. That was the important thing. 443-219-7595.
Stroke of genius. Just what are those clarity moments where you're just like, boop,
yeah,
there it is.
You always remember the address of the place you grew up.
Right.
Or like that first phone number. I don't know my parents' phone number right now. They still have a home phone.
Right. Yeah.
I never have known it. But I still remember the number when I was a child.
I remember one time in college when I got an escort home from public safety.
Right.
And they asked me where I lived, and I gave them my home address. Not where my parents lived, not where they lived then, not where I lived when I went home from school.
Right.
The very first address I ever grew up in.
Wow.
It's just like, that's the one that pops off the tongue. So.
And then when you correct yourself, they're just like, what seems to be the problem today, sir?
Well, no, luckily
what I'm going to have to ask you to do is...
I wasn't walking. I was actually sitting halfway on that wall in front of Dunkin' Donuts trying to get the will to walk across the highway back to the dorms. And
like a sad turtle trying to make it across.
Public safety came out and they saw me, and he like turned the lights on. He was like, "Do you need a ride back?" And I was like, "No, I'm totally fine. I'm fine. Where are you going? Back home. Where do you live?" 310 Greenridge Road, Felsburg, Maryland, 21632. And he's
wait.
What? Where are you going? Oh, no, that's not it. That's not where I live.
I'm in the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, yes. Actually, that was where I lived. But yeah, so how was your week other than the alcohol poisoning on Saturday?
Oh, it was all right, I guess. I got the Subaru back from the shop.
Oh.
So I'm happy about that. Finally have the car that I've sort of like built to be my own.
Now, can we just acknowledge that in 1 year you drove 2 very nice cars into the ground?
That's not true at all, though, because I feel like I have had just a rotten run of luck, but that's neither here nor there.
No, I suppose not. But well, anyway, so I had a bit of a crazy. I mean, I'm in. Everybody who's watching the video, you can note I'm in my uniform, if you will. Because I came straight from work today.
Right.
But today it was a crazy week. Lots of trials and lots of nonsense. One good thing that happened was I got...
Since you're in the suit right now,
yeah,
and it might be a good opportunity
I
to
object!
Yeah, there we go. Can I get just like a good... And I'm going to direct you a bit here. But
okay,
just like
here we go, yeah.
One of those like the lawyer says it would be the public defender
yes.
on the other side.
Yes.
Says something that just makes you like one of those leap out of your chair objections.
Okay, so
like, but isn't it true that you actually killed that girl?
Okay, so wait, I am the prosecuting attorney, which is weird because that's not what I do. But so I'm the prosecuting attorney.
I don't know anything. If it's not in Law and Order, I don't know what you do.
So let's say you're saying I work for the state, and the defendant is on the. State.
No, I was saying that you're the prosecutor,
right?
And the state's attorney or whatever, like.
Well, prosecutor is the state's attorney.
Oh. Maybe that's why I always get in trouble.
You're sitting at the wrong table, bro.
Yeah.
You got to come back to the other side.
Come over to the other side?
No, so the defendant's is defendant attorney, which is what I do.
Okay.
That's what I typically do. So I would say things like, isn't it true, officer, that in fact he wasn't violating the speed limit? He didn't swerve, but in fact you pulled him over for no other reason other than you recognized him. Your Honor, I would like to make a motion to dismiss. Clearly, this evidence has been garnered illegally in violation of the Fourth Amendment. It is clearly fruit of the poisonous tree, and therefore it should be dismissed.
That's official legal talk there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. We got real. I got like a little chill down the back.
Yeah, and ladies, if you feel a tingle, it is because that's schooling that caused that to happen.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
he has proper schooling that caused that.
Actually, I probably could have done that before.
You probably could have. I'm sure if I sat down long enough, I could think about something really neat to say.
Well, to be fair, actually,
I have been watching a lot of Good Wife recently, so...
There was a party after my senior year of high school that got busted at my house, which I think you've heard the story about before. But there was like a party we invited 17 people to, and 170 showed up.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I lived in town. We had a pool, but we were on an eighth of an acre in the middle of a block in town, just not ripe. And people were parking in the driveway and in front of the house, and I was telling them to go away. Anyway, so cops came to the door. I'm like, cops are here. Everybody go out the back. Just scatter. So I go out the front door to meet them, and, I'm already 3 sheets to the wind. And I was like, officers, how can I help you? And then so they just grab me and arrest me for no reason. And I'm standing there like, excuse me, officer, I believe that you require a warrant or probable cause, and I don't think you have either of those things. And then I started shouting about the First Amendment, or the Fifth Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment, and he slammed me onto the trunk of the car and put me in handcuffs and sat me in the back of the car. So now I'm 18. I'm like, oh, good Lord, this is going to be a problem. But at least everybody got away. And a line of people came around the back, just single file, in the back of the house. One officer, 170 arrests. Just thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah. All that worth it. Didn't actually get arrested, though, by the way. But anyway, so off on that
it's
sidebar.
Important to state. Yeah, sidebar.
Sidebar, since we can say that again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Though we didn't even attempt to say it last week, which was a nice...
I was trying to avoid it.
One of the many things that we were able to actually avoid saying.
Yeah, unlike you, I was trying not to get alcohol poisoning last week. So. But so one of the other interesting things I think we had were the reactions to the episode, which I don't know. I don't know what you heard. I heard very mixed reactions.
I got a lot of "you guys are idiots."
That I did get a lot of those. I thought it would be funny. I think that was our thinking, that it would be entertaining and it would be funny to watch people get drunk.
I feel like it was entertaining. there's people who, regardless of whether or not they approved, found it entertaining.
Right.
But
right.
there were some people who just didn't approve on spec.
Right. The whole concept just didn't really appeal to them.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, give us a shout out the week before. Really? I got nothing the week before that was like, I think this is a bad idea. Maybe you guys should change it.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Everyone was really gung ho about us doing it. But then as soon as we did it, they were just like, oh.
They see it and
you too.
No longer approve. I don't understand people.
Well, maybe it's because the idea of it sounded like a great idea at the time, and then once they saw the execution, they're just like,
right. Well,
but I'll say I've seen this done before, like in ways of you get like a radio host drunk in the morning,
right?
And it's like one of those like drunk driving campaigns where they sort of like show like where the blood alcohol content is.
I wish we had a breathalyzer because I would have loved to know where you were at the end.
Me and Aaron calculated it.
Okay.
And I think I was at like a point. What is it?
See, and I think
it was like
you told me 0.1.
0.18 or something like that.
0.18. That's more like it. Okay.
Right.
Because I was going to say, I know I can drink 2 drinks an hour and still legally drive. I'll be at 0.06 to 0.07. Not that I would or should, but you
right.
could still legally drive.
But it's all kind of here or there because if you don't eat something right, or one beer hits you harder than the other, like it's not like a perfect model. But apparently I was at about a 0.18, which is like
right. So
3 times the legal limit.
Factor from there outward. 2 drinks means 0.05 to 7, and you had 17 in that same hour. There's some exponential
16,
growth.
But
16. Yeah. That's some exponential growth. So times 8 would be 0.16 to 0.18. So that's where you were. Good call.
I think I hit the daily double at some point there too.
Where just
like bonus points, yeah. Like you just skip right ahead. You go right over like 0.10 to like 0.15 like immediately, but whatever.
But not unconscious. Not until after. You didn't hold it together so much, but at least you were conscious, which I think at 0.18 is an accomplishment.
Yeah. Well,
remembering the phone number, which I don't even know.
We have Irish roots to thank for that. Yeah. So
no, and I did want to ask you one thing about that because obviously at the end of the episode it was a mess. We were just trying to get the thing closed out, and because of that we didn't do the promo. So then we were talking about what promo to do, and you're like, "Oh, I have this great idea, and I'll post it." And then I saw it, and it was your picture, with a birth year and a death year on it,
right?
And then as soon as you posted it, I had sent you a message, and you were just like, "Yeah, I feel weird about that."
Well, I feel like the joke is kind of funny. I won't say it's overwhelmingly funny, and I did get like specifically one comment about like, "Dude, you scared the shit out of me,"
right?
Like which kind of
that was a point though.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I didn't want like people to like. I kind of wanted it to be more. I should have done a better job of making it look like a joke,
right?
Than it was.
No, you picked the serious picture too, like the good picture.
Yeah, like the one that would literally be a picture that sits next to my casket.
Yeah,
at a funeral. Yeah,
where the hair's short and you're just.
Yeah, chilling.
Yeah, no, I could actually see that being blown up, which is probably.
It's probably my best picture, which is why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think that same. Around that same time, there's one of like our engagement picture. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the best picture.
That's going to be in the show notes, just so you know.
Oh, are we going to post that?
That picture is going to live again on the post for this episode.
Well, and ironically, we could.
Now that you said it,
in the years that happened since then to now, we actually could get married. Because then, what was that? 08, 09? I want to say 09.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So hey, progress moving forward. Yeah. So good. So. Not that we are going to get married, clearly.
Right. Because...
I think things just got
awkward for everybody. Well, no, I mean, I feel like if that was going to happen, it would have happened by now.
Right.
Because it's like a Josh and Donna thing. Like, you can't have, like, this, like, ill-forgotten love for 6 years. I mean, we're going on 12 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, all of a sudden it happens, and, like, you're like, yes, finally, thank God. But at the same time, you're like, shouldn't this have happened way long ago?
I was talking to somebody about that, about when you know somebody for, not you, obviously, but if you know somebody for a long time, how when it does happen, it's got to be so awkward. because you've known each other for so long, and then you decide to take that next step.
Have you ever had this is way kind of out of left field, but have you ever like been like walking down the street and like felt the need to do something like completely random, like either punch somebody in the face or like just smack a girl in the butt or something like that and see what the reaction would be?
Not the
like I feel
assault,
like
but...
well no, but I mean like I would never act upon it.
You have the thought though,
or just like walking down the street and randomly like kiss a guy and see what he would do.
Kiss a girl, yes. I've never had the thought to kiss a guy, but that's because I'm a 1.
But the shock value of the kissing the guy would probably be more.
Okay. Now, and I will admit I have kissed a guy as a joke to get shock value from somebody else.
Yeah,
because people were just like staring at us and we're just like, it's a guy. Guy I was in theater with. We did a theater kiss, which is not a real kiss. It's
right.
You grab each other's face and then thumb in between.
Yeah.
But from their perspective, it looked like we were really kissing. So they were staring at us and it was like, let's just for effect, shock and awe. Let's do it.
Whatever you say.
Anyway, so what? The whole point? Why you get that thought?
Oh, I just think that like it's got to be kind of like that moment, like you've always had that, like, you know, like, oh, what would the reaction be if I just like randomly like slap this girl on the butt? But it's some girl that you've known for a long time,
right?
And then all of a sudden you're together and you can actually do it whenever you want.
Oh, true.
And then like it's like this like it's that headspace that you live in before where you're like, well, obviously I'm not going to do that because it's horrible and inappropriate. But, like, that thought passes your mind, like, oh, what would the reaction be if I just randomly slap this girl on the butt? And then all of a sudden, like, you have carte blanche to do it.
Right.
And that wall is broken.
Yeah.
And it's like, where does your headspace lie then?
See, I've been in that. And now that you explain it, I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
She who shall not be named. I had a crush on her for, like, 10 years before we dated.
Right.
So we were friends in high school. There was all that. I have a crush on you and you know it, and it's like awkward, and I was older than her too, so that was a whole separate thing. And then 10 years later we're dating, and I can walk up and smack her on the ass.
Yeah.
And it does mess with your headspace, because there are some points where you forget that you're actually dating the person. And she was gorgeous. She was gorgeous, and I was very much in love with her. And I would see her sometimes and be like, God, I wish I could get with her. And then you're like, oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
We're dating.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, we live together. Awesome. We can do that. Anyway, so getting it back on track, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because the obituary, or the picture with the date on it.
Yeah, I really should have put specific dates.
Just so it's not so much of a jinx?
Yeah, because when you first look at it, your picture with death years on it, you do feel kind of awkward about, like, what the idea of like just suddenly dying this year and it becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy.
On the plus side,
that's
if that
not
were
real wood. I don't think that's real wood either. Everything here is made of balsa wood.
Okay, well, let's just pretend. Well, balsa wood's a kind of wood. There you go. So there you go. So
I hope that's wood.
I think it is.
It's probably drywall.
Yeah. So if something were to happen, you certainly made our job a lot easier because we already have the picture.
Yeah,
we'll just take it down and put it up.
I did the own art for my funeral,
which is weird. But no, because it was
all you have to do is get the question mark out of the in memory.
Right. Yeah. So we'll just blot that out,
which I feel like people missed. But
well, what I'll do is
I think it got cut off in the picture when it got posted.
Maybe that because I don't remember it saying that, so maybe it did.
Yeah,
but
if you went to the website, you'd see in memory 1984 to 2014.
Well, we're both writers in different ways,
right?
Which, by the way, you still haven't read that book, and you need to finish it.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to push it for publishing. This
I do.
Anyway, so I always used to do the write your own obituary warm up. When like you're trying to get the juices flowing, and I always found that was good for personal growth and to get the juices flowing in writing, where you write your own obituary. So that's kind of what you've done in a way.
I think we've talked about this though, and I feel like that's why my own obituary, like the idea of an exercise of writing my own obituary, wouldn't be very good, is because I'm like I have such the artist mentality,
right? Which
is why we've talked about like how desperately I would need an agent.
Right, yeah.
Because if, like, somebody paid me to write, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, $50. Like,
right.
Like, I don't know, is it even going to be that good? And then, like, what I really need is for, like, somebody like you to be there.
Right.
And you just like duct tape my mouth shut. And I'm just like, my client has proved to be one of the best writers in the world. So you're going to pay him $5 million. That is his quote.
I think
and it's just like, well, what does he think about that? About being the best writer in the world? I'm just like,
no, don't say.
Rip off the duct tape. I'm just like, sometimes I doubt myself.
So you were saying $5,000? Is that what they're... But I think the good thing about writing it ahead of time...
Not even scales.
My thought about I like writing the books and everything is if I can write it and then get it published, I now know my value.
Yeah.
Because then after that, God willing, I can quit my actual job, which I love, obviously, and do something that I like to do. Well,
you could be a lawyer for fun. I know lawyers who are lawyers for fun.
I would. I absolutely would.
Like one of those people who just get incensed at like telemarketers and then sue them.
I am going to sue you. No, actually, what I would do is Midshore Council on Family Violence has to farm out all their legal work, and that's what I would do. I would be like, when you have a case, you call me. I'll handle it for you. But I don't have an office. I don't actually go to work. I just pick up these domestic violence cases and prosecute them for the people. So that's what I would love to do if I didn't have to work a real job and I could just write all the time. But that would establish the value. I'll sell the book. I'll know how much that book is worth. And then I could say, well, I'd love to sit at home. I need that much up front.
I would also worry about living the writer's life, too, because the checks are nice, but for some, the checks are nice.
Yeah.
But then how long until the next one comes?
Well,
I feel like I would be like completely fucking doomed if like I got a $500,000 check and Aaron's just like, babes, you have a $500,000 check. I'd be like, yeah, but the next one might not come for, I don't know, 5 years. So let's and then
let's just
half
analyze.
of that is lobbed off immediately for taxes.
Okay, yeah.
And then, like 5% for like agents and lawyers and blah blah blah.
Well, let's just say that you walked away with $250,000.
Yeah.
That means you would, before you got out of bed in the morning, make $25,000 a year for 10 years.
Yeah.
Which are $50,000 a year for 5 years.
Right.
So even if you didn't get any more money for 5 years, can you not live on $50,000?
No, I could easily live on $50,000.
Right.
But the point is that, like, the instinct would be when you look in the bank account and see $250,000 sitting there, you'd be like, oh yeah, absolutely, I can go to Europe for a month.
True. Okay.
And then, what money you thought would last 5 years would end up lasting, a year. Because you blow it on Maseratis. And
you could do what someone we both know, and it's a bad story, so I'm not going to say who it is, but someone we know who's in the music industry now, where he would do commercials and like jingles for commercials.
Right.
He would write one and then he would sit at his house, smoke pot, eat pizza. And then when he got down to the point where he was like, crap, I'm not gonna be able to pay rent this month, he would just call his guy, get a new commercial, bust it out in 3 days.
Right.
And then get another check. And I'm like, that's a great life, but I couldn't live that way. That paranoia of, well, what if I call and there's no work?
Yeah, but then you might also be able to live like, that might fuel the creative.
That's true.
Because every single paper I ever wrote in college was on the last minute.
Right, yeah.
So I couldn't write it unless I knew that the deadline was creeping up on me. So
sometimes you just sit there trying to write it and you can't do it. So
exactly.
Yeah. All right, so well, we were talking a little bit about the reactions, and I think this is going to be happening, especially for the next few weeks, which is we are getting people who are catching up with the podcast. And I know that we got a call to the voicemail line.
Yep.
And it's actually based on, if I remember what you told me, it was based on the relationship episode.
Yeah, the creepy versus cute.
Right. So, and this is going to happen, and I want everybody at home to know that if you call us, we're going to play it.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, with no further ado, I don't know. Did she say she wanted to be anonymous?
No, she said her name right up front. So
okay, that's cool.
I assume we're okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, this is Tammy, or Flash, better known as, and I just wanted to reply to the cute versus creepy on your latest episode. So I've been seeing this boy for a few weeks now, and we actually met on OkCupid and really hit it off, and he is leaving in a few days to go down to Florida for about a month, and so he gave me a ton of CDs, 30 to be exact, just mixed CDs, all with different little different names of mixes and whatnot. And I feel like if I was not into it, it would be totally creepy. But I instead thought it was super sweet. Keep up the great work. You guys are awesome. Thanks.
Well, hey, Flash. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to know who Flash is. Flash now used to live in Maryland. That's where we met, at the pub, actually. Another one of my weird friendships that just kind of happened at the pub because she was dressed as the Flash, which is where she got her nickname from.
Right.
And I was dressed as Clark Kent, which was me wearing a suit with a Superman shirt underneath it.
Yeah. One of those cheap Halloween costumes.
Oh, yeah, like last minute decided I was actually going to wear a costume, so I went to Walmart and bought a Superman shirt. But I think she's absolutely right. And mixtapes are weird because again, that difference between dating years, we are of the age where a mixtape was still something we did. Or
oh yeah,
CD.
And not only that, but you were telling so much about yourself.
Oh yeah,
in the mix, like you wanted to nail every single one of those songs,
and going
to the point where like the recipient thought like, oh my god, I love. Whatever. I love Rise Against.
I remember going through the torrents and just looking, like, what tells her about how I feel? But there were occasions where
lots of Wham.
Wham? Really?
Yeah.
Not George Michael? That's really...
I was thinking Andrew Ridgely, but, whatever.
We
all know where the talent lies in that band.
But I think that's definitely one of those things where, like, if a girl liked you, it could be the sweetest thing in the world. If she didn't, she would sit in her car after school with her friends playing the mix that the creepy guy gave her. Like, How creepy is song number 6? Oh, super creepy. Yay. So
I like big butts. Just like, seriously?
But and it could be the make or break too. Like if she liked you, she'd love it. If she didn't like you, she didn't like it. And then that could be that make or break.
I think that's kind of the thing, though. If you like the person, then you're more willing to be accepting of that sort of thing.
Well, and if you're on the fence and he gives you a mixtape full of Wham and Wham's not your thing, then that might push him into the creepy category.
Right.
So it's one of the things. But thank you, Flash, for sending in voicemail, and we encourage everybody to call about any topic. I know a couple of my friends have commented that they're working their way up to 4, and I said, just skip 4 because 5's coming, so don't worry about it. I
feel like sometimes podcasts like this are great for like when you have a trip.
And that's
like I listen. I like when I was driving across the country to California. Like I intentionally didn't listen to my long podcasts,
right?
Like the WTFs and the Adam Carolla shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would have like a run of like 7 of them that I could listen to as I was driving across, and
in fact, one of our friends came down from New York, one of our mutual friends, this past weekend, and that's what she did. She said, "I knew that I was going to have a 4-hour train ride." I had told her that they were about an hour long, which turns out a couple of them were a little longer than that.
Yeah.
But she had saved them all because she knew she would have this train ride, and she wanted to listen to them all on the train ride home and back. So,
nice.
So she's caught up now. Unfortunately, she was one of the ones who gave us one of the comments about like that was really dumb. I don't know who gave you that idea, but you shouldn't do it. Anyway, so. This is being released next Tuesday, obviously, so we will have missed it once again, much like we did Cinco de Mayo, but Mother's Day is coming up this week.
Yeah, and if you didn't know that you missed Mother's Day, you better go out and buy your mother something fucking sweet.
Yeah, and don't ever show her the receipt, because then she'll figure out that you bought it after the fact. You can always pull I forgot the card, it's at the house.
Yeah.
But, yeah, don't show the receipt. But so in honor of that, we want to just kind of say a big hi. And what I want you to do is to cut only this portion so I can play it for my mom. Because I don't want her to hear anything else.
Is every single one of your podcasts only a minute and a half long?
It is, yes. I drive all the way to Baltimore. We make this really quick shout out, and then we're off the air. Yeah, so, but anyway.
It seems like a lot of work for a minute and a half of...
I'm internet famous.
You don't understand the internet, Mom.
Which she absolutely
doesn't. You don't understand. Yeah, put that part. I'm just going to lead with that. You don't understand the internet, Mom.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to give you the first. Go ahead.
Well, I would like to say for the record, and now that it's on the internet, is officially for the record.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever that I love my mother. She is my rock. I don't know if that's a thing you say about mothers, but
Isn't that like a wife thing?
yeah, I feel like it is. So
But
my mom's not my rock.
Well, I know at this point you don't have a wife, so it's kind of okay that she's the woman.
I feel
She's
like
the
a rock is something that just like keeps you grounded.
Yeah, and that's definitely mom.
That drowns you in the river if you hold on to it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going, but it does. Actually, it does. It's a great mom story.
Right. Yeah.
Is me and my brother, as brothers do, were fighting one day, and a real brother fight, like punching each other in the face, rolling around on the ground,
Which happened a lot between you two.
Yeah,
I love the Harry Houdini story, which we'll save for Father's Day. But...
Yeah, we were a fighting brood. But there was once where me and my brother were just in an all-out slugfest on the ground, like rolling around on the ground, and my mom standing over top of both of us going like, stop it, quit fighting, like just in that tone, like very like I'm not just very somber, very quiet, and
Right.
we're obviously just like punching each other in the face like, fuck you, mom.
Not actually, though. Not saying that.
Not saying that,
Right.
but that was like the internal monologue.
Right, yeah.
And then she poured a big bucket of water on the two of us. And like when you have like water like splashed, like a lot of water splashed on you at once, you like have that like drowning feeling.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, and then she just like looks at us both and she's just like, I told you to stop. And just walks away.
Calmly again.
Yeah,
Just
calmly
back to
again.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I would like to also take the opportunity to say hi to my mom. Hey, Ma, I love you. She and I with the. So I am not Jewish, despite the appearance that perhaps could be confused for Jewish. But I have a Jewish mother, and by what I mean by that is I have the mother who. We're sitting down and we're at dinner, and just any random time, it will be a little bit of silence, and then she'll say something like.
Say something like, I want to go to Miami.
Not quite that. So, are you seeing any nice girls? I have a girl at work. She's 35, so she's a little older than you, and I know she's not in your wheelhouse. Well, she would say wheelhouse. I know she's not your type, but she is super sweet, and I think you guys would hit it off. So I gave her your Facebook, and she's going to be sending you a message. Like, thanks, Ma. Thanks.
She has one leg.
Yeah. Most likely.
Half of an eye.
I love my mom to death, but she and I get in this constant argument about, and we talked about that relationship episode, I'm not going to rehash, but just about dating in general. I think that she really wants grandkids. Like, really wants grandkids.
Yeah.
And so she's upset that I'm not married, and I've been close so many times and never, like, gotten there, and I'm sure she blames me. I'm sure she thinks it's my fault. Which,
I feel like my mom is, like, accepting of, like, grandkids will come when they come.
Right.
But in the meantime, Cory is enough of a hassle on his own.
Fair enough.
That, like, I don't really need another thing that's screaming and crying and pooping itself at the moment. I have that covered.
Yeah. But no, so, and we were talking about stories. My favorite story of my mom, really, we're both our mothers first. So we are the child who made that person into a mom.
And that's what my mom always says to me.
Right.
Like, anytime Mother's Day comes around and I'm always like, oh, Mom, happy Mother's Day. And she's like, well, it's only Mother's Day because you came along.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And then we have that, like, back and forth, like, no, you're the best mom. No, you're the best son. No, you're the best mom. No, you're the best son. And then it's a fist fight.
Right. Anyway, so I always love to tell a story about my mom because, again, she wasn't around babies a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
All my aunts and uncles had babies, but she was just kind of like in college doing her thing. And so when she gave birth, apparently the first comment that she said, with her eyes full of tears, both joyful and sorrowful, as they laid me on her chest, was, "Oh, he looks like a monkey." Ma, what? Thanks. Jeez.
Yeah.
And she said that her nickname for me, still even today, when she wants to annoy me, is that she calls me Peepers, because she said every time that I would wake up, I'd be in the bassinet or the crib or whatever, and she could see me. And when I would wake up, I would only open one eye, and I'd look at her to see if she was looking at me, and then I'd close my eye, and I'd open up the other eye, and then close it. And until she said Peepers, that's when I would open both eyes, and I would start crying. So
Yeah.
because I was an awesome baby and didn't cry ever, apparently. Yeah. So,
I never
you're
asked
welcome,
my
Mom.
mom if I was a crier. I feel like I would be.
Well, she
Just
got
knowing-
my sister was colicky after me, so I'm sure there's a lot of rose-colored glasses of saying like, well, compared to the colicky one,
Right.
money. Yeah, he slept all
Well,
the time.
I had my like adenoids taken out at a young age.
Wow.
So something tells me that like there was a lot of like when she was giving me baths, like me screaming like my ears hurt.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
You know, crying and carrying on, and you know, I'm sure that sort of thing happened.
Well, so on the topic of
There
moms,
was the one time my mom told me this when I was like a baby, like still in a car seat in the back seat kind of thing,
right,
where she took me in for like just a baby checkup, like a baby
one of your monthly.
Yeah, like one of the change the oil on the baby kind of thing.
Yeah, we're up to 36,000 miles. I'm just bringing her in for a checkup.
Yeah, just gotta take out all the old fluids and put the new ones in.
Yeah.
She was pulling out of the parking lot at the doctor's office, and she just like looks in the rearview mirror and sees me like convulsing in the back seat.
I should laugh.
And well, no, it happened a long time ago. I don't remember.
You're okay.
it. Yeah,
So-
I'm fine.
Ish.
Fine-ish. But like apparently she grabbed me, you know, she parked real quick, like probably across like 8 handicap spots.
Right.
And like grabbed me and ran upstairs and like burst into the doctor's room. I like to imagine like action movie style, like she kicked the door down.
Yeah.
She's just like, my baby's having a seizure. And then they needed to give me like a spinal tap right there and the whole thing. But like my mom is like,
that story went horrible. I thought there was a punchline at the end of that. There's not. There is spinal tap and I survived.
no, what I guess the punchline I'm trying to get at, not the punchline. The point I'm trying to get at is that what I love most about my mother is she's just this naturally sweet, wonderful woman.
She is.
But she has like that she totally has that mother instinct.
Mama bear.
Yeah, like, you know, don't get too close to the cubs or else I'm going to smack you.
I
like
will lift
she's
the
got
car
yeah,
off of you.
She is one of those mothers that like if I was the baby under the car, she would like lift, you know.
Yeah.
You know, she wouldn't ever be able she couldn't lift a Miata if she tried.
Right.
But if I was underneath of a Humvee, yeah, she'd be like, "Ah!
Somebody get the kid."
Just
or slide it out with your foot.
kicking me out with the foot. Come here, you little loaf of bread.
Well, so on the topic of mothers, I had somebody a weird thing happened, which is a guy. Everybody I know is pregnant or getting married, one or the other. But I have a friend who's pregnant, and she found out not too recently, but she's pregnant not near birth. So go ahead.
Sorry, sidebar. Something just I've been getting. Okay, so a friend of mine had a baby some time ago.
Okay.
It's still a baby.
Right.
But she's on Snapchat, and I get baby Snapchats. Like
from the baby?
Yeah, like that. Well, no, like her sending, like, look at what the baby's doing,
right,
kind of Snapchats.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like Snapchat might jump the shark
right.
soon, because all these girls who are out there sending, like, you know, pictures of them titties out are going to get knocked up, and then going to be sending out baby pictures.
Right. So it's going to become the new thing. That's going to be the new
Yeah,
thing.
like it's going to be the new place. Like Facebook, if you log on my Facebook, you see 9,000 pictures of babies
yeah.
down the timeline.
Same thing on Snapchat.
Yeah, just eventually Snapchat will just be all babies. And the kids are going to have to find some new place to show their vaginas off.
I don't know about all that. I don't get any of those yet. Anyway, so I have a friend who's pregnant. Back onto the track.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's pregnant, and she doesn't have a baby. She's not really close to giving birth. But she is pregnant. And so she asked me, well, first of all, Dad's not in the picture, as tragic as that is. It sucks, but that's how it is. And
yeah.
I'm good friends with her, and people who know me know that I'm all about babies. So she knows that if she needs anything, she can call me. If
you do have that baby melt, kind of like that. Like,
I know.
Oh, my God, it's a baby!
And pregnant women are the same thing. I feel so bad for pregnant women who don't have men around. Not that you need a man, obviously not, but I just think that there's like part of that partnership thing that you miss out on when you don't have it. Anyway, so she asked me if I'm going to give her a Mother's Day gift. And I said, why would I give you a Mother's Day gift? You're pregnant.
Yeah.
With your first child. You are not a mother yet. And apparently that was super offensive to her. So Is that a bad thing? Like, you're not a mom. You're pregnant.
No, you know what I think it is? I feel like it might be the like college thing. You have to take it with like the college rationale. Like, so when you get accepted into college and you go away to college,
right?
Like your parents might give you a nice present, but nothing like you get a laptop.
Right.
New laptop.
Because you need it, though.
Right.
Right.
But compared to the present you get when you finish, like when you graduate.
Right.
You know, you get a very nice graduation present.
Right.
Probably. Compared to the laptop, I imagine.
So I have to get her something that's not.
So, yeah, like what would you get her? What would you get her for Mother's Day? Like a card or some flowers or something like that?
What do you get people who... Again, one, I am not the father of the child. I am not the husband of the girl, and she is not my mother.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 areas I think that I am responsible for Mother's Day gifts for.
Yeah.
I don't buy my friends who have
I feel like
kids.
if I know somebody who has a baby and I see them on Mother's Day, I'll be like, oh, hey, happy Mother's Day.
Right.
Just like a, hey, what's up?
But that's the extent of it. You don't get people... It's
So, like, what's 10% of that you could give her this year?
a
Just
single
like,
flower.
hey...
I'm going to take a handful of dirt and throw it in her face. It's not exactly flowers, but it's something close. So, I mean,
no, hold on. Maybe that's the idea. Just hold on. No, be with me here a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, go grab like a red Solo cup and go out in the backyard and fill it with dirt.
Okay.
And then give it to her.
Okay.
And be like, one of these days you'll get flowers.
Oh, whoa. I'm
Just like
I'm
one
gonna
of these
adjust it.
days you'll have a baby.
Put a seed in the cup. If you water this and give it some time, it, like your baby,
will grow into a beautiful flower.
I feel we need to patent pending on. Actually, I think that's probably already a thing. But that is our intellectual property.
But like you know the if you listen to, I hope you listen to more than just this podcast. If you listen to podcasts,
yeah.
But I mean, like you'll hear a lot of the other the competitors. The flower will send flowers and chocolates to your mom for Mother's Day.
Right. Yeah.
You know, use our promo code Rob and Cory talk about shit.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a discount on the flowers.
Right.
But I feel like this would be a good send the prospective mother in your life a bucket of dirt with a single seed in it.
I think we should
delivered to your place of work, so all the other coworkers can see your thing of dirt.
I am liking that idea. I think that we need to get. It's a little too late for this year, but I think we should get on that for next year.
Yeah.
Well, we need to do some branding. We need to get out there and just do it.
Dirt for future mothers.
That's not a great name. We're gonna have to come up with something a little better than that. But
this seed will too grow
for the pregnant women in your life. Yeah,
this seed will too grow.
This seed will too grow. I like that. I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
So if you would like to get a cup full of dirt,
listen, fucking people of the internet. This is our idea.
Don't take that.
Don't steal this $1 million idea.
Intellectual property.
We will be so pissed.
I am a lawyer, and eventually I'll be rich enough to just sue people because I want to have some fun. So
right, eventually,
keep that in mind.
Pretty soon he'll have nothing but time to sue you over your cup of dirt. Your off-brand cup of dirt.
So on that topic of not being able... So you and I joke all the time about... Well, we don't joke. I think we're really serious. But I don't want to do what I do. You don't want to do what you do. It's what we do to pay the bills right now. We want to do other things.
Yeah.
The other thing that you are... And you're actually... I mean, I've written stuff. If I can just get my friends to write it and edit it for me so I can publish it. Then I could maybe be a writer. But you are actually doing stuff right now.
Yeah. Well,
and you're on the way to that dream.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like... Specifically, I'm getting ready to shoot a new short.
Right.
It's called The Love Letter, and
I notice a lot of your stuff has to do with love and relationships.
Yeah, but oftentimes it's not very loving.
No, it's not.
It's not like Nicholas Sparks. It's more like Stephen King.
It is.
It
is. Like his book Christine about a car that came to life and murdered people.
Yeah, you think you're buying a really sweet book about a about a car, and then all of a sudden it murders people.
Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. Should we have said that?
Oh, man. Well, if you haven't read Christine, the fucking book's been out for 40 years.
And the movie's been out for like 20, so where are you going,
Yeah.
honestly?
Do not get mad at us for spoiling. Like, what's the rule with that? Like, I feel like you give at least a week.
A week? No, I think a year you're safe. Like, we could talk about something that came out on DVD last year.
No, but I mean, like, if it's a hot show, for instance.
Right.
Like,
No.
the
More
latest
than a week.
episode of Breaking Bad,
No, you
the
can't-
latest episode of Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, you got a week to catch up.
No, it's got to be more than a week because I DVR a lot and I don't have time to watch. So if I get a day, I will just watch 3 episodes in a row. I think a month. You can't talk about the new one unless you know the other person has seen it, unless it's been a month.
Maybe that's the thing. Like, you should walk up to everybody and just be like, hey, you watched that latest episode of Walking Dead?
That's all you have to do. Yeah.
Man, that shit at Terminus is crazy.
Yeah. Don't come up to me when I haven't seen. You haven't asked me that first. I'm like, yo, Terminus. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean the place on the signs? I haven't even gotten there yet. What are you talking about?
I just
They
know
actually
that.
go there?
I just know that it's a thing.
I know it's a thing from the show. Don't do that to me. Don't give me a spoiler alert or something. Anyway.
Yeah,
so,
but if you haven't seen Christine by this point, I feel like you.
I think we're probably
Yeah,
safe.
you're okay.
Yeah.
We've passed the year moratorium on not being able to talk about it.
Absolutely. So, so back on track. You're getting ready to do the love letter.
Yes.
Okay.
It will be my 11th short film.
Wow, that many?
Yeah.
Now, if I was an inquiring mind, where might I find those previous 10?
Well, if you go to ohtheanthem.com, up at the top, there's a tab that says short films.
And that's where you'd find it.
You can watch all 10 right there. Mugging like Kevin
Smooth.
Smith does.
Smooth.
Um,
Self-promotion at its best.
no, but I mean, like, I released those 10 as a thing I called the Genesis series, which I felt was more like I just needed to, like, get them all out, and I needed to talk about them. And if anybody wanted to watch that, that would be cool.
Right.
The short films are just listed there, so you can press play and watch the short film.
No, but the Genesis series is on the blog itself, though, right?
Yeah,
I
it's on the blog, on the Oh the Anthem YouTube channel. You can find it there. It's a playlist.
Now this is
but
the first one you're doing since you came back from LA.
yeah, and I think that's sort of like the Genesis series started with the idea that these 10 films were my learning experience.
Right.
And specifically with, like, the first couple, like, it was rough around the edges.
What was the first one? Was that the one out the window?
Yeah, Lights of Baltimore.
Lights of Baltimore, which was excellent. Please, if you're going to see any of them, I love that one.
And
that's raw. You have your talent, and that's it. No training, no nothing, just doing it.
That one specifically, I wanted to say, too, that was I wanted to do it as basic as possible.
Right.
So it was shot on the same handy cam we're shooting this on. It was like Windows Live Movie Maker,
right,
and Audacity, and like a basic USB microphone.
And now look at the setup that you got going on here.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I have posters on my wall and everything.
Framed posters.
Frame posters.
Which is
not just tacked into the wall.
No, frame.
Classy.
Right.
Framed.
So where are you at now? See, and you and I did a movie together.
Yes, you executive produced.
Yeah, EP'd. That's right, I EP'd.
A movie my second movie, which is one that we did with Tabitha.
Yes.
Spiral.
Yes. Now, and my comment, here's what I want you to get into for people who don't know, is because I walked onto that saying, we're shooting a 5-minute movie. So what, like an hour, right? We'll be done in like an hour.
Yeah, this is when, I guess this is a good thing to talk about just because I don't think people understand, like, I feel like everyone thinks that, like, people just get together and shoot the movie.
Yeah.
And like,
No.
oh, what are our parts today? Oh, let me read this real quick. All right, let's do it. But like,
well, for actors, I think that is how it is. In a professional setting, you show up. What are we doing? Let me hit.
Well, I mean, like, you know what you're doing beforehand,
Right.
but like you come in and it's just like we're doing this scene, this scene, this scene, and then you'll like go with the director and you'll talk about it, and,
right?
You know.
But for the person who's doing the movie, the director, the not EP, the AP, DP, yes, DP.
Director of photography,
yes,
the
it's
sound
way more
guy,
involved.
all that sort of stuff. Oh yeah,
which you did all of those roles in Spiral.
Yes, I was talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody, and they I said I just wanted to do it all just so I could see what it was like.
Right.
And then I literally I AC'd, I DP'd, and I directed and did sound all simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an experience.
It was, because the hour that I thought we were going to spend turned into 6 to 7.
Well, it's 4 hours inside.
Right. And then
the 1 hour you were concerned about was the time that we were shooting inside the bar.
Right. Yeah. So,
which I feel like was kind of hit or miss because, like, obviously it was while the bar was open.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, there was a lot of noise and a lot of, like, if at any point you watch Spiral and you say, like, oh, man, that's a really odd camera angle. Why did he switch to that? It's because somebody in the background was, like, screaming, like, oh, you're a fucking cunt in the background.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And I had to cut the really good take, like, all of a sudden to this other shot.
But that not his fault. A big thank you to Brian at the Market Street Pub for letting us shoot.
He's the best.
He's
always looking out.
So much good stuff that we did there.
We should do a live show there at some point.
Oh, we'll get up on the stage. We'll do it because we have a lot of listeners in Denton. They would come.
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be great. Maybe we should do that. If you'd like us to do that, send us some feedback. If you're in the Denton Eastern Shore area and you'd like to come watch it,
I feel like we need to do it for a notable episode though.
Yeah.
So like
20, maybe.
No, that seems I don't know. 25, 50,
something like
100.
That. Yeah. Okay.
Like a good number.
Once we have more than just the 4 people sitting in front of the stage.
Yeah.
When the whole bar might have people in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can have a drink special, and that would be nice.
He and Brian would totally do that too.
O-bombs for the Anthem.
He would absolutely do that. That would be great. Anyway, so
Jameson and orange juice.
Oh God. I just got the taste of O-bomb in my throat.
Yeah.
Not a good taste. It's not opening day. I'm past that. We're beyond that. But so where are you now in the process of the love letter?
Well, this is where it gets interesting because there's a contest I'm trying to enter called the My Rode Reel contest.
Okay.
Where Rode, which is a microphone company, is giving away like a bunch of gear,
which you want to get.
Which I would like to win because it would make it easier to do films in the future.
Right.
And also, coincidentally, the deadline for that is also the deadline for the Toronto International Film Festival, which is one of the biggest film festivals in the world.
Are you thinking about submitting?
If I can get this thing done,
right?
Like, I feel like I could pull, if everything is shot and done with at least a week to go, I can do that thing where I'm just living, editing 24/7, sleeping an hour a night, and like
working and editing, and that's it.
Yeah, all I'm doing is working and editing and eating Chinese food.
Right.
And
Zach, which I've seen you in that movie.
Zach knows that life. Zach knows that, 15 hours straight in front of a computer editing life. But I feel so like it's the end of May, so it's really tight trying to get things working. But the good news is I got locations working out right now.
Right.
Me and my sister are both shooting it, and we're trying to still if worst case scenario, the two of us can handle that.
Right.
Because she can DP, I can run sound, and I can direct and run sound. That's not a problem for me. And the other things you can make the time if you need to,
right?
Like going out and picking out wardrobe and makeup and hair. Like my roommate's a hairstylist, so he can help out there. And you get the girls together and they do the makeup and they can figure it out.
We got him to move out an apartment in an hour and a half.
Yeah,
we could do it. We could do a movie in an afternoon.
Well, please, no.
A short film.
No. I'm not ready for that. And thankfully, this one isn't, elaborate.
Right.
There's not any, dragons or anything unnecessary. So it's a pretty straightforward thing.
Right.
And I think there's no thing about exclusivity for the Toronto International Film Festival. I'll let you know if there is, because if not, I plan on just releasing it, Good. Away after I'm done with it. So
people online could watch the possible Toronto Film Fest winner.
Yeah, for short film.
Right there. And a year from now, we're in the OTA studios in LA doing the same thing.
Well, I would like the OTA studios to be
that's right.
here, but
right.
Yeah.
What? So and that's so this is not the first OTA production.
No.
Technically, everything you've ever done, you've kind of qualified as this is a production company and this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, since the beginning, and I mean, I feel like Oh, the Anthem came from, it's an obvious ode to, you know, where I'm from. Baltimore, from America, everything like that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to limit myself, so, and I still don't. I feel like we've moved into podcasting.
Right.
I would be super excited if, like, one of these days we have a network of podcasts.
I would
like a music
that.
show and a, you know, whatever sex talk show. And
I'll take that one.
You want to do the sex talk show?
Can I do the interviews? What we'll do is we'll get a black couch and I'll sit behind a desk with a camera.
Right.
And then we'll have the guests come in and sit on the couch. And like maybe
and then you'll say things like, well, the adult models make a lot more money.
Well, I'll have them auditioning.
They can make
the whole podcast.
They can make upwards of $5,000 a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you get paid more if you do more things. But
so let me ask you, what would you be willing to do?
I think that would be a great, just like right at the beginning of every single one of those, just like oh. So, you know, the ones who take their clothes off get $5,000 a day.
And just so we know, I am joking. I wouldn't
no.
I would do a sex talk one because I think that would be interesting, but not what we are referencing.
Right. Yeah. And if you know what we're referencing, you are probably a gentleman.
Yes.
And you live your life in incognito mode. If you know what I'm talking about.
Well, and I would love to. I mean, I think my dream altogether would just, like I said, be able to be doing this all the time. It would be, you know, doing the weekly podcast. And I love. I mean, we touched on it a little bit before. I love music, and I would love to just have a music aspect where
absolutely
production. And one thing that we've talked about before is having everything in house. I would love to hire Zach and have him move here and be one of our video guys.
Yeah.
And get all of the people I know who do, well, most of them are now actually working on other stuff, like creatively, but come in and do editing and be able to do everything in-house.
I feel like, though, the part of where I'm trying to position myself, and it's not there yet. Like, right now we're in the garage, if you will.
Yeah.
But you got to kind of have that startup attitude about it. If you're doing independent film outside of like a studio system, because you have to think that like you have to sort of just be building until you get to that point where people think like, oh man, I want to be a part of this,
right,
before it blows up.
Right. Let me get in before this gets big.
Whether or not it blows up or not is completely, you know, that's in the wind. But the hope is that, you know, this continues to build and build, and you know, I love just being a part of an ecosystem. Like, talking to people on the podcast is incredible. Making films and getting feedback on it is incredible.
Yeah.
The $50,000 a year parable from earlier.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that would be fine with me.
Absolutely.
I don't need, you know, homes all over the place and
see, and I would actually
GTRs, but you know,
I would take less than that. I have $50,000. I mean, give me
I know, but
I can live on. That's all I really need.
I'm thinking, I guess, in the future, like, you know, when you have a kid and $50,000, kind of like,
Oh, that's Well, I suppose that's not.
You want to have like enough to. I know there's people with kids who make far less than that.
Yeah,
but you know that I feel like for compared to $5 million a year, $50,000 is a reasonable comp.
Right. And I guess speaking of all this synergy, which is really what that is, it's about, you know, we'd love to do,
which is why I need somebody who just negotiates for me,
right?
Because I would be the one who's just like, just give me $50,000, I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. It's okay.
I need the ruthless. I need Ari Gold in there, like my client.
To my turtle.
Yeah.
I'm the Ari Deer turtle.
Yeah.
Is that how?
Well, I'd be the Vince in this situation.
Oh, great. Yeah, true. I guess. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because he does some production, I guess.
I would be, or like the E, I guess.
I'm more E, I think.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, setting stuff up.
Right.
Big Maserati.
But I do.
Maserati.
What's her face? Emmanuel Sharik.
Oh, man.
Manny outkicked his coverage on that.
And she's in a fantastic movie called 100 Girls. It was like her first movie ever. I recommend everybody find it online and watch it. But one other thing, I mean, synergy that we were talking about, all that is that we need to shift one of the. What would you call it? It's like an inside joke, but not. It's a joke inside joke for the podcast and people who listen. Which, by the way, just a note, people want T-shirts. I got contacted by some people who are like, "Yeah, I was excited. Totally wear
I was
that."
excited that I was looking at the results of the poll earlier today that I put on the thing.
Right.
I don't know if everyone saw it because it was kind of buried deep in there.
If you scroll downward, it's full of content.
Not a single no.
Right.
I mean, granted, the majority was maybe.
Yeah. Let me see what else.
I'm interested, but I would like to see what happens first.
Right. Yeah. But I think the whole point is we may have to change.
Well, this is kind of like one of those dumb moments on my part, because there is a feature-length script that I've been working towards. I'm in the process of rewriting it right now. Over my shoulder is a to-do list that includes budgeting this thing, right? Because I'd like to sort of work towards the end of the year, beginning of next year as like a start time.
Yeah, we should kickstart that.
You
hate taking money from people.
I have opinions on Kickstarter.
I know, but that is what it's for.
Oh, I know.
People who listen to this, and we should just do a segment about it. Sell it to people. People watch, people listen, and then you know what? I'd give them $5 to make that movie. I'd like to see that.
The good news is that movie wouldn't take a lot of money.
No.
But I feel like I would rather just talk to somebody who has the money and wouldn't miss it than because I've to an extent, I feel like if Kickstarter eliminated people you knew, like people you knew could not give, then I'd feel a lot better about it. Because at a point, it's kind of like if you see somebody's Kickstarter, if you know somebody who has a Kickstarter,
right? Like
you feel like you're giving and like you're just cutting out the part where you're asking the person like. But also, hey, Rob, I'm working on this movie. And I know you have a little bit of disposable income. I was wondering if you would be willing to be a small part in financing this film.
Right.
Like rather than that, I just email you a link, like anonymously, or not anonymously, but just like send you a link, like, hey, check this out.
Well, I mean, but I think given the
for $1,000, you can be a co-producer.
The whole thing about being online and social media is I don't think you have to send it to people, because if you have my email, then we are probably friends on something that's social media. And if I see it and I'm interested, I might do it, and you don't have to do the ask. The ask is kind of implied.
Oh, I know, but I mean, like, I feel like the ask is like an important part of being. It's good to ask people. That's just me. Again, this is why I need somebody working on my behalf, because I am not good enough to like. Well, you know what? That's the fucking interesting thing though is when it's business when it's not the business of me.
Right.
Like when I'm looking at numbers for the Anthem, or when I'm looking at numbers in my day job, like because I run money and do business all day. Like, I'm vicious. I do not.
I've heard you on the phone with vendors.
Yeah. And, I've negotiated, like, amazing car deals because I'm just a very good negotiator. But when it comes to me looking out for my best interest, I can't do it.
All I'm saying is
which is why I need that person in my life.
There's a kid who paid for his college education through Kickstarter, asking people to donate a penny. And 2.8 million people donated a penny. Put it out there. There are people who just surf Kickstarter and they're like, this sounds good. I'll donate $5 to that.
Yeah, and I'd be fine with that. There's also the part where I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I would like to make money back for people who invest in you. And
I get that. And there will come a point where that I think is.
And you know what? I think that there's a big difference there. Sidebar. A big difference there between art.
Right.
And like independent movies and stuff like that and products.
Right.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people looking for working capital to get, their smart lock off the ground.
Right.
So they go to Kickstarter and they show you a great video about what your life is going to be like when you can open your door with your cell phone.
Right.
But in the old days, you would have to find somebody who would invest in the company, write $1 million check, and then you give them interest.
Right.
People on Kickstarter who are giving money maybe get a lock, but if that thing blows up, it's not like you're getting percentage on it. You don't have stock options. You don't have.
But I think that's part of the part of the thing is that they're more likely to take a small risk, even though there's no reward, because the risk is small. Because you don't want to sell shares at $5 a piece, and you might get 1,000 people who are willing to give you $5.
Yeah,
it's 5,000.
Yeah,
and that's probably not the whole budget of the movie, but that takes a significant chunk out of the budget of the movie.
Yeah.
So. But if you go to if you have to go one person to person and say, listen, if you write me a $5,000 check, I will, if we make money, give you money on the back end. There will come a time where I will fully support that. And I will say, listen, we want to make you a part of this thing that is happening. And this is your chance. And if you miss it, then you're going to miss out completely. But right now is not that time.
Well, I mean, for particularly the one we're talking about, it's about that time I fell in love is the one we're thinking.
Such a good script.
It wouldn't cost hardly any money.
No,
as far as a film is concerned.
Right.
It's a very low budget film, so that would be probably a better place for Kickstarter.
Which one are we talking about doing? About That Time I Fell in Love.
Yeah,
and I'm saying that we should do a Kickstarter about that.
Yeah, that one would probably be That would probably be a better one for the Kickstarter. But, like, the living situation is, like, a very big budget. Like, when Zach Braff is on Kickstarter asking for $10 million,
right?
Like, no, Zach Braff.
Go to a studio.
Get the money the old-fashioned way.
Right.
If you're a struggling artist trying to get, $50,000 put together for a movie, completely different.
Right.
Situation, I feel.
And I don't even think you're not going to get $50,000 for about that time. What's your? Are you still working on the budget?
Yeah, I haven't even gotten into it. So.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I mean, that's a little bit of what's coming for the Anthem.
Yeah. But getting back to that point though, right. In About That Time I Fell in Love, there is a character who basically identifies with what we were trying to say the entire time with this whole Beth thing.
Right.
And I feel like it's really the better way to go. Like, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me at the time when we were talking about it originally in episode 1.
Well, because the story is literally about a girl.
Yeah, but I mean, the Noelle is the name of a character that I have in About That Time I Fell in Love, who is a girlfriend of the main character who changes everything.
Right.
She's one of the... Every single person has the game changer relationship. Whether it's somebody that was good, somebody that was bad, somebody that's currently good, somebody who's currently bad.
Right.
Like that. Beyond that, like you can break your life into eras of these people.
Right.
Like this is the Noelle era. This is the Jessica era. This is the Amy era. This is the Sorry. What I'm saying is, you can break your life you can break your life into these segments.
Yeah,
where it was this is the game changing relationship. There are ones in between. You both want to be that game changing relationship, and you don't. It's a weird place in between.
Right.
But I mean, like overall, I feel like everyone wants to be the game-changing relationship, whether it works out or doesn't work out.
Right.
And you hope that it's for the good.
So the point of that being that we are going to switch.
I feel like because I've already written about this character in a screenplay, we should just transition to
right. So it's going to be from now on. We're going to say Noelle.
Yeah, rather than Beth.
Right. Which may offend.
Noelle.
Honestly, may offend the Beth.
Well, whatever.
I don't think we really care that it does. But yeah, so the T-shirts would instead say I'm a Noelle, or I am a Noelle, or I'm not a Noelle, depending on your perspective of that particular thing. So I think that's.
I feel like you'd want to be a Noelle,
right?
Like no matter what.
Yeah, even if it's bad. I mean,
even
really,
if it's bad, you kind of want to be a Noelle.
You want to know that dude will never be the same when you get done.
Right.
Right. So
and specifically with I feel like this is a not every single week is obviously something that we're working on.
Right.
There's not always a film coming up. There's not always like some cause that you have going on.
Some cause.
But it's about life. And I feel like, life is just, art is part of the life we lead.
Yeah.
It's, you identify with these eras just like you identify things with people.
Right.
Or things with times. Like, an album that you listen to in high school, if it comes up in shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, like, that old Blink-182 song plays, and you're just like, oh, man.
Totally embarrassing story.
I used to hang out in Towson. I remember driving to Towson and listening to the song to go meet with my high school buddies at Ruby Tuesdays.
Paramore's Riot album, which makes me think of riding. There was summer that I was at the beach more than any other summer in my life. Riding to the beach, riding up and down Ocean Gateway or Ocean Avenue or whatever it is in Ocean City.
Yeah.
Just riding up and down, rocking Riot out of the sunroof of my Hyundai Tiburon.
I miss that car.
I know, right? Gosh, I need to get a better car.
I feel like cars do that too, to an extent.
Oh yeah. When I see a blue Tiburon, I'm like, oh, my youth. That was my youth.
I had a Mitsubishi Eclipse,
right,
which was ugly because the paint was terrible.
Damn you, Mitsubishi!
I will get you, Mitsubishi.
Wait, another sidebar joke.
Yeah.
Anytime a car breaks down or is junk or burns or blows up in an Oh the Anthem production, it will always be a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Probably, yeah.
Because you just we talked about, you said that before. I just want to destroy as many of them as possible.
Yeah, I did this. I've had the same feeling about Allstate, which is going to be a really fucking long and interesting story for another day.
Oh.
But I feel like I'm going to have one of those, like, I'm going to have to figure out exactly what the rule is with being able to use, like, a trademarked.
I'll do some research.
Yeah, just so I know exactly where I can step in scripts, where I can just have characters being like, fucking Allstate is a bunch of highway robbers.
Or open up the bullshit, like a shitty neighbor.
Yeah. Bullshit, like a neighbor who fucks your wife.
Exactly, yes.
And on Mother's Day,
we'll walk
of all days.
We'll walk a fine line.
Why would you be the bad neighbor who fucks my wife on Mother's Day? Allstate.
That probably is too far. The views of Cory
and you stabbed my baby. Now my mother is not a mother anymore. How dare you, Allstate, stabbing babies.
The views of Cory are his and his alone. They don't stand for the Anthem Podcast, and especially not for Robert Cheek. If you're going to sue somebody, please sue Cory Baker. You can find him at...
I like how you tailed off before you can find him.
Yeah, I was going to put your real address out there.
Right. Put me on blast like that.
I heard an interesting story about the secretary for the Beatles, when she started the fan club, used her home address.
Yeah.
Because she was just like, 3-4 letters a week, and then the first day there was 40 letters.
Yeah.
And eventually her dad complained because he was like, I can't find the bills mixed in with all these fan letters.
I feel like one of these days, like, I'm gonna have to there's gonna be a weird place when everybody's founding a business.
Yeah.
Where things aren't really like kicking off yet. But like you have to have like a business address. Yeah. So you just have like some like, like a fucking office and a desk somewhere.
Or just a P.O. box.
Or a P.O. box. Yeah.
Mailboxes, etc. Do they still have those? Mailboxes, etc.?
Maybe. I don't know. You can get it at the post office.
Oh, that's true. Or a UPS store or something like that has boxes.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't like the P.O. The problem with the UPS boxes have an address. So it's like 2624 Lookerman Way, which is actually a street in Dover, Delaware. But there's a UPS store on there. So all of the P.O. boxes, they look like P.O. boxes, but they have their individual address.
Right.
So if somebody in California thinks that they're sending mail to Oh the Anthem, they think they're sending it to an office park somewhere. But it's really you going to a P.O. box and then bringing it back to your basement.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So rather than like Oh the Anthem,
77.
P.O. Box 797.
Right. It's 246 Lookerman Way, so it looks like it's an actual address.
Another interesting sidebar. The Netflix has a Baltimore distribution center rather than Frederick or something like that.
Right, so things get back quicker.
So things get there and get back quicker. And earlier today, just because I noticed it today, I was trying to figure out exactly what zip code they are in, so that on my way to places, I can drive by there and put them in the mailbox of the zip code where
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
And maybe get my Netflix back instant quick.
Right.
Like,
Bordering on the internet streaming. Pretty close.
yeah.
If I was watching on a 38.8.
To the point where hopefully by the time I can like drop it off at night, and by the next day I have the same, like by the time I get off work, the new Netflix is in my mailbox.
That'd be
That would
nice.
be the dream.
Yeah. Or, Amazon's doing the drones. Netflix could do that too. Netflix should have just like a little plane.
Yeah,
over
just
your house.
shoot a DVD in your... How sweet would it be if like the drone just like flew... Sweet is kind of a weird term to use when saying drones, but like how sweet would it be if like the drone just like flies into your house and like goes down into your basement where your entertainment system is set up and just like fires a DVD into your
Into the
PS4.
player. Except
Has
for
like
the,
an infrared, so if it has a tray, it'll just like pop out and it'll just like...
Except for the whole camera on the drone in my house because
Yeah.
I walk around naked when nobody else is there. So that would be funny if like I'm walking out, I have like Ben and Jerry's and I'm naked, spill some down the
I feel
front of me.
like Netflix would use all that information too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you'd be signing in the release to like be a Netflix member. Like our drones are allowed to use whatever information we capture about you in the safety of your own home as marketing. Yeah,
Definitely.
So they would be
something
like
that we scroll through 5 pages and like, yeah,
Yeah.
it looks good. Accept.
reminds me of the episode of South Park where with the human centipede.
Yeah.
It's just like, what do you mean you didn't read the terms of agreement?
I'm a lawyer. I still don't read the terms of agreement. Yeah, that was that. Is it Kyle's dad? Yeah, Kyle's dad said the same thing. They're
Yeah.
like, you're a lawyer. Yeah, I don't read the terms of terms of agreement either.
Terms of endearment.
Yeah, a whole different concept of the terms of endearment. All right, so one thing we didn't get to, and I just for information's sake, right now, Maryland has their film festival going on.
Yeah, the Maryland Film Festival is happening right now, and I feel bad because I feel like this festival, we have so many amazing directors, filmmakers, cinematographers, the whole lot, actors, actresses,
Right.
everything. We have a great filmmaking community in Maryland, but the Maryland Film Festival isn't on the same level as
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest or
Right.
Austin or anything like that.
Wait, isn't South by Southwest in Austin?
Yeah, but they have 2 film festivals.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
So,
Well, and it should be. I mean, and one of the things you want to do with the Anthem is encourage Maryland filmmaking.
I want everyone to I want to buy a huge place somewhere in Baltimore and have people come to my door
We talked episode
and just
1.
like knock on it and be like buy the Mayfair, buy the new Standard next door,
apartments.
have a podcast studio, have theater where like, you know, stand-ups and musicians and movies and the whole nine can be shown, and just have people like come by and just be like, I made 10 short films and I would like to step it up to the next level, and I'll be like, come in, let me introduce you to some people.
I know that you picture that a lot like I don't know, like I just saw Jobs, so that makes me think of it, about Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
You know, like bringing in the young people to try and train them. That's what you picture when you do that. What I picture is Brad Pitt from Fight Club. Like, stand on the porch for 3 days, and if you make it in, I'm going to shave your head, I'm going to put you on some bunk beds in the basement, and we are going to make you into something great.
Can it be both?
I guess it could be both. Some space monkeys.
Well, I mean,
Can we make soap as well as podcasts?
An important thing to remember about Jobs is that he always pit his employees against each other.
True. Yeah.
Like he would have the Lisa team and the Apple II team,
Right.
or the Macintosh team.
Yeah.
So
God,
like,
such a good movie. I hate that I like it. I hate that I like something Ashton Kutcher did.
I'm gonna give you a movie to everybody. You won't find this. You're gonna have to go on Amazon. But the good news is it's like $2
Right.
on Amazon. Pirates of Silicon Valley.
I've seen it.
It is a phenomenal TV movie.
Yeah.
It has Anthony Michael Hall and Noah Wiley playing Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
Right, yeah.
And it is an awesome movie and worth every penny that you spend on it.
All
Bleacher
$2.
Bums, too.
You know, you can actually find it streaming because somebody recommended it to me, and I found it on some tube site and just watched it streaming.
Oh, illegally?
No, I mean,
You-
If I were to have looked online, I'm sure I would have found it on a tube site, but I certainly didn't watch it on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I feel bad that I'm not going to be able to see more films at the Maryland Film Festival.
Yeah. And again, if
that's the part that I think upsets me the most is like, I feel like I should be clearing my calendar for it.
But you can't.
But I can't. I got to work. That's number one.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So I can't go to things during the day.
Right.
But then secondly, like, I just feel like at places like South by Southwest, there's a reason to be like hanging out all day.
Right. Yeah.
There. At Sundance, there's a reason to just be hanging out in the area all day.
And someday, the
Cannes, Toronto International, like all these things, like there's a reason to just be where the festival is happening.
To take vacation.
Yeah.
To go.
Yeah. And I feel like Maryland Film Festival is not at that level yet, but we have the people that should inspire that sort of
right. So
like
someday you'll be able to go to the Anthem Day, where it'll just be movies and shorts and
I don't even think it would be like the Anthem Day. Just like an the Anthem party for the Maryland Film Festival.
There you go.
Be a fucking rad thing to do.
So if you want to be part of the future, theanthem.com.
Next year at this time, go to the Maryland Film Festival.
No, before that. No, contact us before.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
get to work.
Let's have a party. Like
let's bring you into the fold over the next 12 months.
Still, well, I mean, this will post on Tuesday, so it'll be done by then. But like,
shoot. So we can't even say go see it. But you should go see it next year. But join the
fold.
The
Maryland Film Festival just bought the Parkway Theater, which is an old movie house on North Avenue that has been abandoned for
forever,
20 years,
yeah,
something like that. It was a church for a while, I think. But they just bought that. That's going to be the new base of operations. So I think in honor of the Maryland Film Festival, we should all go on North Avenue late at night, probably 2 a.m. or so, when it's really lively. 16 shots of tequila on the street right in front of the Parkway.
By lively,
who's in?
Do you mean stabby? Is that what you mean by lively?
North
Avenue at 2 a.m. does not sound like a place I want to be.
North Avenue, for those who aren't aware, is not a tremendously safe place to be.
You've seen it on The Wire. You have seen it on The Wire. That neighborhood.
You haven't seen it on The Wire, but you've seen neighborhoods strikingly like it.
Fair enough. Yes.
I will say this though: there used to be a chicken shop there, New York Fried Chicken, on the corner of Charles and North.
We went there. We went there. Like
I took you.
Yes, and it was delicious.
2 a.m. in the morning, it got magical.
Yeah,
like
it does.
They put crack in it. I'm sure.
It was really
the
good.
best fried chicken ever, but it only happened at 2 a.m. I don't know. Somebody who worked there overnight was a master.
Because he was putting crack in the chicken.
Probably putting crack in the chicken.
But no, so obviously this is going to post after the film festival, but we do love the film festival. We hope the best. If you join the Anthem fold, here's your king, and come and worship.
Please don't.
And we can.
This is why I need an agent.
Together.
You. This is your king, and I'm just like, no, I'm not.
Right.
Please don't. I don't.
So come join the fold.
I don't want to be your king.
We have access. If you are a filmmaker, or if you have ideas if you have a writer and you want somebody to shoot it, this man makes some magic on film. I think he especially does well. I think so far it's been stuff that you've written for the most part, or stuff that you've talked with the writer about.
Well, 9 of the 10 were written by me.
So, but even the one that wasn't, despite all the things that happened.
I think my favorite shot's in that movie, though.
Yeah.
Like when she's walking along the outside.
Yes.
If you go and watch any of the short films, like if you check out Spiral, and for whatever reason you're just like, I'm not digging this, skip to 60% of the way through.
Yeah.
75% of the way through.
The walk
when she's walking down the street, like I love that shot. I think it's my favorite shot I've ever done. God, I wish I had a better camera at the time.
I know, but yeah, we did. But anyway, so my whole point is that if you don't think that directing or DPing or any of that is your forte, but you have a good story, get in touch. I mean, I'm sure you would love to, if it was something good, to shoot somebody else's stuff. I mean, we got a list of your own stuff, but
I like helping people though too, because I mean, like I feel what the fuck is the point? I would rather have more good art out there than like keep it all to myself.
And the equipment you have compared to 2 years ago when we did Spiral, so much better.
Yeah,
and so if it was a great idea, but you have the Handycam, you could shoot it on much better material now. Yeah, much better stuff. So.
I feel like if I had
high-class radio right there. High-class podcasting.
Yawning into the microphone. Sometimes they yawn. I feel like if I had a second chance at a lot of these things, it would be magic.
But it's not that kind of thing. We can't reshoot it.
No,
because
you can't.
It's gone.
You can't redo it.
Yeah, but there's so much amazing things coming. Well, Love Letter, I'm looking forward to. Future possible Toronto International Film Festival winner for short film. About That Time I Fell in Love, you've heard us talk about. There are so many other projects in line after it. Looking forward to the Living Situation, which I have such a personal stake in, being made at some point. But get in, like I said, if this sounds like something you want to be involved in, even if you're just looking for a way to get it out there. Not that we have that many people we do have people who follow. Yeah. And the Anthem is a brand that this man's trying to build. So we're welcome all. It's a conversation.
I don't like to think of it as much as like a brand or like a company, but
I do.
Well, he does. But I like to think of it more as like a place.
Yeah.
Like, the Woodstock idea, I guess. Like where originally it was just like, hey, let's just get a bunch of bands together at a farm.
Right.
And then it blew up into the biggest music festival that ever happened in life.
That's what we
and then the business people got involved and turned it into Limp Bizkit on a Sunday and shit like that. So
and fires and
all that sort of that nonsense. Yeah. But if you want to come for the good stuff, come see me. If you want to come for the downtrodden and the burned flesh and the Fred Durst, then you go to this guy. I'm
going to remember that when you need me to negotiate a contract. I'm going to negotiate in like a 50% finder's fee. So they're going to give you $500,000, and then you get the check, and it's like $100. You're like, what happened? Well, $250 of that was me.
Apparently, you didn't read the terms of agreement.
Apparently not. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Anyway, we have to get going here.
We've once again gone long, and you are late for your date, by the way. She's not going to be happy about that.
Shit.
Whoops. So sorry, Aaron, when you hear this.
I could drive fast.
Okay,
the standard boilerplate stuff, if you want to send an email, Cory@otheanthem.com, OTheAnthem on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, where you can find the short films, OTheAnthem.com, and the telephone number for voicemails like the one you heard earlier, 443-219-7595.
And again, we understand people are catching up. Feel free, if you hear something on episode 1 that just strikes your fancy, or episode 2, feel free to call, comment. We're still open to hearing that stuff.
We will just talk about it.
Yeah, it's
really
absolutely fine. And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, everywhere at Robert N. Cheek. All over the place. And my blog, even though I still haven't really started it, foundingthefuture.blogspot.com. I got to get a .com, just a straight foundingthefuture.com. But next week, what are we doing next week?
There's no like solid plan, kind of because the short film is kind of like throwing the schedule all crazy. There's a chance that we might do a podcast on location, which would be fun.
And I think that would be great. And maybe
have
even
some
of the actors
and
to talk to us. So one thing I'll say is that, this is not just about us. It's also about you, listeners and viewers. So if you have something you want us to talk about, if we've talked about something you want us to talk about more, anything, give it to us. Send us your ideas.
If you also got fucked royally by Allstate and would like to complain,
we're totally open to that.
Yeah.
Call, leave a voicemail, or send us a message and say, hey, you guys should talk about this, or hey, you said something.
It's not liable if it's true, right?
Yes and no.
You can defend me.
Yeah, sure. I know that some people have commented on some sidebars where we took like a 2-minute sidebar and then moved, and they were like, it sounded like such a good thing, and you just went back to the topic. So if you have that, let us know. We'll talk about any of that stuff. So I think that is next week. Send in ideas. Yeah, we always love to hear from you. Thank you guys for listening once again.
Other than that, we'll just figure something out and let you know.
One other thing. We are looking for a tagline, if you will. Something that, because we wander to the end and there's wandering, and I keep telling you, we need to find something.
I feel like I have the tagline. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
For Cory?
Oh, no, because we do this every week. You don't say your own name. You don't say your own name when you do
For Cory and Rob.
That's not. You would start with the other person and you say for them, then myself. For Cory, this is Rob. That is not going to be a tagline. My cell was Hit It Manny, but I don't think that that's a good tagline for a goodbye.
We're going to have to explain that, too.
Yeah.
Though.
So tune in next week to explain the Hit It Manny, ba-dum, chink. That's it. That's all you're getting.
We're gonna have to get a proper sound effect for that too.
Ba-dum, chink. That's
anyway.
Anyway,
for Cory.
You don't just say your name. Okay, don't say 4. Just okay. All right. Here, take 2 on the close.
All right, for Cory.
No, don't say 4. You don't say 4 for yourself. You say it for the other person. So just say something and then say your name, and that's all. So go ahead.
All right, this podcast is ending, so for Cory.
Oh, my God. I'm going to rip my hair out. All right, so anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week. So for Cory, this is Rob. Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you guys.